Well, hey there team, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to some more Hardspace Shipbreaker. So, previously, I thought I was very clever and dragged out the three thrusters while still attached to the entire fuel system, but it wouldn't detect them in the barge, so that's a bit of a shame. It does get a little bit frustrating with this game. I mean, that's a little bit different, because that's just a barge error detection. But I gotta be honest, like, the game seems to want to inspire interesting and new clever things like that, you know, cool maneuvers to pull the ship apart and do stuff, and yet the devs seem to very aggressively patch out everything that people come up with and do. And it sort of frustrates me. I mean, I guess it's a good thing that they made those purple blocks. I think were definitely an exploit that circumvented the whole system. But I find myself thinking about the thruster fuel hand release puzzle, which, you know, we've googled the internet. If there was more depth to the puzzle, we'd know by now, where it's literally just a random 1 in 3 game, which is not favorable odds, which means there's no reason to ever do it. So apart from just randomly guessing which of the 3 thrusters to pull the handle on, the only other option is to buy the key. You know, I really want to be able to come up with a sort of a cool plan for not using the release sort of flush key on the end. But to be perfectly honest, I'm really struggling to come up with a way to justify that. Now, the other problem on top of that is that, oh no, actually isolating, I'll still be able to pull the core out the way that I do. But, like, you know, sadly, I really think that we have to just accept that pulling the buying a key and pulling the switch is the only way to do it, you know. And I don't know if the devs watch like my videos or people's videos, or it's just pure Discord response or whatever, but you know, quite snarkily I have to say, congratulations devs, I give up. I'm buying the key, I'm gonna use the key, and you've taken a big creative chunk out of the game for me. And it's not, you know, it's not necessarily because I'm not smart enough to come up with a clever way to circumvent the system. It's because every time I have, they have patched it. And it's not just this, it's the bulkheads. They keep changing the way that the center bulkheads hold together and all that as well, so we can't cut them apart as cleanly. It's just a bit interesting. Bit interesting. If I sound a little bit sour, well, it's because I am. I've been with this game for a very long time, and yeah, it's given me a bit of an idea of how the devs react, and it is kind of aggressively, and it's almost banhammer adjacent. Here's something clever. Nah, let's remove it.
Air pressure level decreasing.
And so we isolate. It's a shame. Okay, so let's pull the core.
Airlock pressure levels dropping.
And I've said my piece, and I suppose that's probably the last of it, right? So I've said my piece. We now isolate. We pretend that we don't ever have to talk about that ever again. And now we just work with the assumption that you always have to use an isolation key, and there's no other gameplay mechanic physically possible. Because that's the kind of option that they've presented with us. It's a shame. I think they should probably just patch those release handles out actually now. Now that I do think about it. Alright. Get rid of this.
Valuable component destroyed. Penalty applied.
Fuck off, Mole. I'll destroy whatever I want. Alright, we'll drill this out.
Reactor meltdown triggered. Action urgently required.
Off you go, little fella.
Salvage secured. Account credit applied.
Alright. So are these now floating free? Is that the idea? They are. It releases them. Okay. Yeah, okay. Alright, it's done. Let's not dwell on it. How do we get the thrusters out as clean as possible? That's the next question. They kind of need to go down. I think we can cut this. What the fuck? What? I didn't touch that. The laser glitched. Oh, good. Fuck that. Get out of here. Bullshit. Alright. Mate, I'll tell you what, if people are watching footage and I did clip that by accident, fair enough, so be it. But I can't see how I could because it didn't detonate explosively. So what the fuck just happened then? The laser did its glitch that apparently the other 99% of the time it doesn't hit anything, but this time it did. I have no idea how that fuel thing started leaking. If someone can figure it out, let me know. I've heard that there are sorts of bugs and glitches. I've only ever had the one like magic bullet time where the fuel canister flies at the speed of fucking light through the map. But apparently that still can happen.
Salvage secured. Credits deposited.
Alright. There you go. Only way to ever do it now. Alright.
Salvage secured. Credits deposited.
So we've got the power at the front. Look how fucking many things they've added.
Air pressure level decreasing.
Like, okay, like, I know it's a video game, alright? I know it's a video game, but this is not sound design. You're flying along through space, a rogue fucking meteorite or asteroid comes through and it severs that line there, underneath. It doesn't breach your citadel in the center, and then the front of your ship falls off and your entire command crew dies. Like, the fact that this is hard sealed, well, it's not even hard sealed, it's a soft seal. The fact that it's even soft sealed to the outer skin is just so weird. I can get around this whole section pulling away, but there should be a canopy here. Do you know what I mean? This should be sealed. That's just so strange. That your entire cockpit, your entire command deck can just get eradicated because some damage holding the outer skin together happened, right? Even have a look at the airlocks and the rest of the inner structure of the ship, right? Look, it's clearly isolated between the cargo area that can be in vacuum and the crew quarters that can't be, so this is sealed. The existence of this division of compartments betrays this bullshit at the front. I mean, previously it was hard sealed to the skin, which I think was smarter, to be honest, at least if you want to go off that sort of law, because you could cut all this away in that and try and peel it off and peel chunks out of the skin. It wouldn't matter because this was still hard sealed to the side. So they should either go back to the way it was, or they should put some sort of canopy in that's attached to this. It's very strange. I'm not strictly trying to bash on it, but just what we just saw then, the bloody cockpit explosively decompressing the skin because we cut something way back here that's not got nothing to do with it. Like what?
Salvage secured. Account credit limit applied.
My fuse is causing trouble. Sounds like it. I suppose that pulls away. No.
Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred.
Oh, fuck it, whatever. It's probably worth nothing anyway. I still can't for the life of me figure out how I'm supposed to fucking cut this thing. Alright. Like, can I cut this? I guess I can, but I need to sever it from the wall. I mean... Okay. That's good. Alright.
Cutter, there's 5 minutes remaining in this ship.
Now at this point, what's the next valuable thing? I suppose the cargo, right? Geez, it's been a while since we've done the cargo and all. I know we split the bottom, but maybe there's... like... I better not come up with a new clever way and put it on footage, because I'll just remove it. Alright. Jesus, okay. Alright, so that's not working so well.
Salvage deposit accepted.
Alright, so that could have gone a bit cleaner, I suppose. So this sits in this holster, right?
Salvage secured. Credits deposited.
How's that not detached? There's no attachment along here.
Warning. Your oxygen reserves are dropping below statistically profitable levels.
Okay. Now we're sort of... No, that came away. Now this came away. This fucking glue bullshit.
Oxygen reserves are critical.
So this actually, I was right in my
Contact
cuts.
your plan administrator to add asphyxiation coverage.
Alright, let's go. Yeah, that's the... we uncovered the glue issue a little while back. For those aren't aware, the ship is not actually held together strictly by those cut points. There are certain parts of the hull that are actually got this secret glue, some sort of magnetism holding the parts together, which is unfortunate because it undermines the creativity of the individual. It's like you go, oh, if I cut here and here and remove these things, then this will come apart, you know, which to me is sort of the implicit gameplay mechanic of the entire experience. And then for the game to go, no, you can't do that because this bit's attached magically, and you could never have guessed that or intuited that. I do get a little bit cross with that. Because it's like cheating. It's like showing someone the rules of the game, and then they play by the rules, and then you go, oh no, but this thing, and add in some random rules. Like, come on, man, what's this bullshit? Alright, cool. I know I seem a little bit down on the game, and that's because, like, consider when we first started playing this game, there was so much promise and wonder, it was really interesting. But over time, the devs have done a lot of things where they've introduced some interesting mechanics, like, you know, the green retainers that you'd have to go find a piece of something to smash into, and then they walked it all back. Instead of taking an interesting game mechanic, they just made it so you had to boot it with your own kit. That's a whole other discussion that we've had, but I'm just sort of giving one off an example, and the other example being that like I said, it is a game that seems to promote that sandboxy approach to coming up with some clever and interesting ways to dissect the ship, and then once we do it, they start patching it like crazy. You can go way back into the and some of the speedrunners have jump on and talk on chat as well. If you go back to when we were trying to pull all the cores out really in the early days, I could use that sort of kidney pull that I'm doing now, but sort of straight down. That was sort of a thing that we did a lot, and then they proceeded to put guiding sort of that one of those bulkhead rods, you know, the keels, directly in the path. It wasn't in the way, so you could pull the core out if you did a little bit of maneuvering, and that you could pull it out the bottom, but they immediately sort of updated the ship to have a bit of keel in the way as well. But that was way back in the day. But my point is that the sort of their philosophy, at least in practice, I'm not saying if it is, it could be a big coincidence, right? But in practice, as a consumer, it seems to be that as soon as we come up with clever and interesting ways to circumvent the systems, you know, like what you think the game's about, they patch them. And then it's like they're making a prison. They're just covering up all the holes and all that. I don't know, maybe some people find that fun, but to me that just leads to homogeny, right? We're going to basically QA the game for free. They're going to go, okay, that's clever, that's interesting, cover up the hole. Patch it out, don't let them do it. And we're going to get to a point where there's going to be only one way to dissect a ship. That's a bit sad, because I think the beauty was seeing all the videos in the early days of all the people doing really interesting, different things, you know? I mean, I'm all for patching things in ships, patching out issues and errors and stuff that's not intended, but I think there's a line that you have to walk carefully. And to be perfectly honest, if you make a ship that's too easy, then learn from it and design the next ship appropriately. I think that would be received by your community a little bit better, as opposed to going back and calling backsies and saying, oh, okay, good for you, clever, you came up with something that we didn't see, so we're going to cover it up. As opposed to sort of just leaving it in there and let it become sort of a meta method. It is interesting, actually. I think maybe the sensation I'm feeling is a little bit closer to people that play things like Dota and that sort of stuff, these more competitive games that perpetually require balance. And so you come up with a really interesting, clever build within the game, and the devs immediately patch it out, or they power creep other characters to make it not as effective. It's interesting. I never really thought I'd be in that sort of camp, but I just got to wonder. Anyway, a little bit of discussion there on the end, but yeah, like I said, I accept defeat. I will just accept that the only way that we can at the moment remove the thrusters is with the key for isolation, and that puzzle is unfairly stacked on purpose. To what end, I don't know. So there's no reward for coming up with a clever way to not use the key. So I'm just going to use the key. And that's just how it's going to have to be, which is a bit of a shame. So it goes. Anyway, team, thanks again for joining me. We might just leave it there for the time being, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.